Hey guys, John Huntington here. I've had a few people ask me lately on how to build your own basic REM pod. Quick little video on how to make one. It takes me about 35-40 minutes longest to make one, and I do sell them for $35, including shipping. So if you want to order one, just message me on here or Facebook, whatever, and I can make one for you. I have a couple here too if you want one. But anyways, I had a few people ask me, so I thought I'd make a quick video on how to do it. So I hope you enjoy it, and yeah, I hope this helps some of you out. Thank you. Alright, so I'm going to show a cheap and easy way to make a REM pod that you see for ghost hunting. So you need one of these little door alarms. They hang on door handles. You can get them on Amazon, and they're even cheaper on eBay. They come in like a package like this. It's pretty cool. And there's 2 screws in the back. And you will need a Phillips screwdriver, which I have one here. And you want to take these 2 screws out. One here, one here. I want to do that now. Next is I will drill a hole where the circle is. So you need a drill, and I already have the drill bit here. And you want to make sure that it's not too big, because you want, I have it measured out the perfect size. So what I do is I take an LED light like this one, and I'll show you. I drill a hole right through here. You want to feed the LED light through this hole. Okay. And it's like that. Okay. That's where your light. This is where your LED comes out. Okay, so you want to cut this wire in half. So I'm going to do that real quick. Cut it in half. And then you want to take and cut the plastic away from the metal. About a couple inches on each side. And then you want to twist them together. Add some hot glue. You want the hot glue on for a while. And then you want to just a little hot glue around that hole right there to hold it in place. And then while it's drying, I usually make a hole for the antenna up top here, right above where the light is. And you want to make it kind of close to this edge. Not too far to the edge, but close, and in the middle here, so that it'll sort of fit down, it'll slide down to here. Now you want it to slide down, but you don't want it to go too far, like you don't want it to go into the battery compartment area. You want it to go to like right here. And then you'll hook these wires around the antenna, and I usually wrap a little bit of wire around these wires on the antenna, and then I'll put hot glue on it. Okay, and then what you do is, I'll show you in a minute, but you cut these, like this one here, the top one here, this one here, you cut in half, and this will be your positive, and this is your positive. So these will be cut in half, and then you'll have to cut this in half, strip it down a little bit on each side, and then I like to put a little solder on each side of bare metal, and then solder the positive end of this. I usually cut these down about half length, so they'll fit in here when you close it up. So I'll cut this in half, and then I'll shave off a little bit of plastic on each side, put some solder on that as well. And then what you do is you solder the positive, the bottom top here, and the top here, this one wire to positive, and then you do the same for negative, and then you close it all up. I usually stick all the wire down here around where the antenna will be, so that way you can it doesn't get in the way of anything. So yeah, the next step you want to do is you want to drill a hole. And I'm going to do that right now on my drill. Okay, so I drilled the hole. It's pretty simple. You drill a hole to the top. Got a little plastic stuck on me still. So a little hole to the top, so it goes through. And I like to stick it out a little bit like this, so I can take and I can put the wire on it. And then I wrap it around the 2 wires with some other wire. And then I'll glue it down. And I'm just going to do that right now. But yeah, you don't want this to go past here because it will interfere with your battery. And then take the glue gun. Okay, so you take the glue gun and you go over it. Glue it really well. Nice and hot. Okay. It's probably funny. You could probably put a little up in there too if you wanted to, but I got it really solid. So it'll take about 5 minutes to dry, and it's in there permanently. Okay, so the next part you want to do is you want to cut these. So I usually just do one at a time. I usually cut this in half. So it's cut, and I cut it in half. I got the wires a good length, and now what I'm gonna do, I don't know if I can see this or not, but so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay some solder on each tip, and then I'm gonna cut these. I'm a little solder on the tips there, twist them together, and then I solder them again, and then I put liquid electrical tape over them. I don't know where that shut off. So basically I soldered here, soldered all the tips, okay, and now I'm doing a bottom solder from here, and I'm twisting them, the negatives together. They're already pre-soldered, so I'm twisting nice and snug if I can. It's kind of hard at first. Okay, those negative, you see it, I got all the negatives together here, and I'm going to solder all 3 wires together, the top. So you take this top one, the bottom one. The bottom one's negative, top one's positive. And I get the negative, all 3 negatives from the light hooked up. And they're all pre-soldered, and then I'm just going to solder those again together. So I get the solder iron out. And solder those together. There we go. So that's in there solid. It's not going to come off. And then I usually put a little of this liquid. See it? Liquid. Horrible this one. Liquid electrical tape. Okay. This stuff's awesome. So just cover up the electronics. So you don't want them touching anything. Okay, while it's drying, I usually do the other one. Okay, so I've already soldered this one. So now we're going to cut the positive wire here. Positive wire. It's horrible. Okay, positive wire is the top there. You want to cut that. You want to cut the top one right here. So you got 2 wires here, and then you want to cut the tips. So it's just, you want to put the little tips here. So there's a little bit of wire sticking out, and then solder the ends. wire strippers, or you can, I usually use fingernail clippers. Usually really easy to use on electronics. Okay, so I take in the 2 wires I just cut. I solder those together. I solder the ends a little bit. Solder on there. A little solder on this one. Okay. And the positive, I think I already soldered, but might not have. So, a little solder on there. Okay, it's probably really hot, so. Alright, let's check that tip out. How does it look? It's okay, I guess. Let's see. Looks good. Okay. So, take and put all these 3 together. So, twist this together. And this one together. So, we have all 3 positives together from the speaker and from the board. Okay, and then, okay, now you just, you can see the camera or not. Where is it? Oh, right there. This is the wire. So all 3 wires are together, twisted together. Okay, and then you just want to solder those together real quick. Don't need much solder at all. Now it's permanently together. It's not going anywhere. Okay, and then you want, then I use the tape, the liquid electrical tape. Put that on. Okay, it'll take a little while to dry. You can always test it now if you wanted to see if it works before you put everything back together. So what I like to do, I like to let that dry a little bit. I like to check it over, make sure everything's covered. Make sure this is in tight, that's in tight. Alright. So now we want to tuck these wires in here so they're not sticking out, of course. And then I tuck these wires down in here so they're out of the way. And then I'll put the case back on. So let me do that. Okay. That is tucked in good. Alright. And then tuck these in. Tuck them down inside. I usually tuck them down inside near the antenna just to get them away. You don't want them to interfere with anything. So okay, that's tucked in there good. So you want it kind of like that. You want the wires out of the way. You want it tucked in here so that the cover will close. Okay, and then you just put the cover back on. It's hitting, okay. The wires are still hitting a little bit. Put the 2 little screws back in. Your Phillips. Okay. Other one. A REM pod. Positive. The first time I did this, I didn't check it, and it started to catch fire. So, yeah, just 9-volt, and just make sure you put it in right. Okay, so let's turn it on. All right, good 2-3 feet away, and it'll go off. So there you go. There's the REM pod.